3 paralyzed men, who were said they would expend the otherwise of their lives in an invalid carriage, are capable to go once again thanks to 2 doctors in Switzerland. An electric unit plugged about the men's spines forced signals of their brains to their legs, and it as well helping corrupt nerves in the dorsal string to grow. The researchers expect how the sudden benefit will allow several paralyzed human beings eventually to restore freelance motion. The at first patient to be purified was 30-year-old Switzerland man David Medersee, who incurred a harsh dorsal trauma 7 years ago in a sport crash. David's physician told he would never go once again. Yet, thanks to an electric implant advanced by a crew at École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne, EPFL, he can go more than rather than part of me in the implant rotated on. As I strolled in him on a clear solar day in the foothill of the Alps entering Pont Geneva, he said me how the capacity to go, although for brief periods by controllable facility, had modified his lifetime. To me a tool a many. I'm amazed at which we include been capable to do. I believe thou ve got to try the unfeasible to do the probable. He's a lot of fun, it feels very nice, he told. David comes through as an extraordinarily favorable man, but following his trauma he had several black moments. All attempts at rehab had unsuccessful, so he coordinated to get portion in a test led by Dr. Gregoire Courtine at EPFL. Dr. Courtine recalls David's definition to prosper. I came in my child, Charlotte, who was 1 month old at the period. As we closed David, he looked her in the eye and told, I will go up thou. While Charlotte took her at first move she was 14 months ancient, by that period David was walk by Pont Geneva. He told to her, I include beaten thou. To Dr. Courtine's surprise party, the dorsal implant did more than rather than allow David to go. Which was fully sudden was the dorsal string maintenance which we observable in animals is how it seems how the nervous system fibers are regrowing and reconnecting the marrow to the dorsal string, he told. David had his implant surgically plugged by one of Switzerland's guideline neurosurgeons, Dr. Jocelyn Flea, of Lausanne College Clinic. She said me how she was as well surprised at David's enhancement. David can now go up to 8 paces while his implant is rotated off and the is the at first period how the has been written in a persistent dorsal trauma. Out of the laboratory, in the actual planet, it is difficult for David to go more than rather than a few paces. The signals of the implant quickly be inconvenient and so can't be utilized all the period. The framework is as well costly and not safe quite to be utilized external of the lab for date-to-date utilize, so he's far of a treatment. Yet, on to Dr. Mark Ham, Execution and Research CEO of the Mercy Dorsal Study, it does show how palsy can be reversed, at low to several extent. If, in its present shape, it is a believable stock option for patients, is dubious, he told. Yet it demonstrates we include a feasible pattern of which is required to encourage recovery and how, eventually, palsy is avoidable. David is the at first of 3 patients who include benefited of the at first wavelength of the treat. 2 some men include as well controlled to go once again, to evolving degrees. Gerden Osken, a 35-year-old engineering of the Netherlands, was knocked together above by a car 7 years back. His doctors said him on his date of birth how he would be paralyzed for lifetime. He is now start to restore several motion. Sebastian Tobler, a 48-year-old man of Germany, was a acute bicyclist who favorite creature out in the rural area up he was knocked together off his bicycle. Now sames behind on a specifically tailored bicycle how is given generally by his hands, but as well partially by his legs. The researchers trust how their framework will enhance and recover several motion to human beings who had lose all expect of walk once again. They schedule to start greater testing in Europe and the US in 3-year period. If these go so, the researchers expect the framework could be more than wide accessible.